Hello everybody and welcome to ISRL. Today we are at Singapore for round 6 of, I don't know what season this is now, to be honest. I've already messed up the commentary, but we are at the longest race of the calendar by a country mile. Singapore, everyone knows it. And after last week's Canada race, I'm sure I'll be seeing a lot of fireworks once again. One at the end of the race and two hopefully during, to keep this a bit spicy. Because, as we all know, this one is more of an endurance race than who's got the quickest pace overall. Especially if it starts raining, which I'm going to be not looking forward to in the slightest. So yeah, we're going, obviously after last week's performance, with Darouge missing, it meant the likes of Lorenzo and the others to catch up. But Darouge is, as you can see, well and truly back on the scene for this week's race, and hopefully he'll be wanting to extend his advantage at the top of the table. We also have a new driver on the grid, replacing RJW, I think, permanently, will be Luco5. Also know him from LOE, actually, very, very good driver. Very good teammate as well, so watch out for him, I think, over the course of the season. And yeah, as we now wait for someone to eventually go out on track, you know, it may be nice if someone did that at some point. So we can actually talk about something and that is actually related to what you're seeing on screen and not just me waffling. And here we go, we've got people coming out. We have a Williams, Iv Sofian, so we'll ride on board with him as we get underway with this race, as I'm very tired, so if I speak slowly and quietly, I'm very sorry in advance. Saving my voice, obviously, for all the action that lies ahead of us. So yeah, Sofian, first one out in the Williams. He is on the soft tyre as well, which, I mean, there is a bit of a strategy debate obviously here, with the tyres temperatures being such a problem for most drivers across the grid. On this game, it means that soft medium is a lot harder than it usually is for most tracks. So medium hard, medium soft, soft hard. There's a lot, even a 2-3 stop, because there's going to be a safety car at some point here. So yeah, strategy wise, we're in for a very intriguing race. Overtaking wise, I prefer not to speak. If I speak, someone will probably hit me into a wall. However, Sofian is getting ready for his first lap. He's going to have to keep those temps down on those soft tyres. And now that one's came out, everyone comes out. That'll be taken out of context somewhere, but so be it. So yeah, after Sofian's lap, I will quickly run through the standings after all shoe decisions from last week's Grand Prix, to give everyone who's maybe new to the stream an indicator of where people's pace will be, as Sofian does start his lap and he's already invalidated for going too wide on a straight. Sofian, you've let me down there, mate. As Captain Blade's invalid as well. Does anyone want to do a lap today? Let's ride on board with Sofian's teammate, EFL Leo. EFL, I'm guessing, stands for English Football League, so he's part of that racing team. Good to know. Going into... and he's invalid. Guys, come on. Right, ISRL Dark on those medium tyres. Don't let me down, lad. Goes slightly off dive gear, takes enough of the apex into turn 1 here, turn 2 and then turn 3. Goes into second actually. I see a lot of drivers not do that. The guy's teammate in front of him, guessing he'll be giving him some slipstream. Keeps it clean and valid through the end of sector 1, now onto one of the only overtaking places of the track. Gets a slight slipstream. I'd probably hindered him more than anything, as he runs a bit deep into the end of sector 1 here. Now onto about turn 7 and then turn 8 obviously becomes a tricky part of the track, where you've got to make sure you stay away from the walls at all costs. And if you cut, you're also invalid as well. So probably easily the most difficult section of the track, I think. We'll see a lot of crashes here today. Now on to the second DRS straight. Keeps it nice and tight to the apex. Very nicely done from the McLaren driver. And down the second straight, let's see, second split, 104.7. There's an AlphaTauri in the wall, not distracting at all. As he carries on through now into a right left-hander, followed by a left right-hander and a tunnel. Very similar layout for the rest of the lap now. Keeps it nice and clean now. It's all about finishing the lap really now, especially on those medium tyres, which I'm guessing he'll want to be starting on for the race. Now into the final last corner, maybe one of the most challenging corners to keep traction down, and he does come across the line to do a 37.7, and then Lachise behind him to go 6 tenths faster, and then Real DC goes even quicker than that on the soft tyres, which obviously is understandable. So let's find the standings real quick. We are going to find the standings, Division 1, that is wrong division. That's Season 5 standings. I need to find the standings, hang on. It was in the chat somewhere. Rain in the race? Oh no, you are, gotta be joking me. Why? I just wanted some dry weather. So, here are the standings. So, De Rouge still leads on 92 points. Lorenzo has closed the gap down quite drastically to only 13 points now, so he's on 79 points. Real DC in the Aston, who's currently P4, is in 3rd place. Irish Potato in 4th. ISRL Knight in 5th. Sofia 6th. RJW in 7th. Passe in 8th. Yarno in 9th. Demort in 10th, and then Lachise, Sprunky, Farrow Baker, DeWill, Nazarus, Milozzi, Krishika, Godly Noob, and ISRL Dark round off the grid. So ISRL Dark doing a bit of a tin can, well, not tin can anymore, Ben JS, and not scoring any points in races, in leagues, so certainly know how he feels, as Irish Potato comes across to do the fastest lap so far on the medium tyres. So yeah, sorry for that. See something. But yeah, so as we continue on, we'll find someone else on a lap. Sprunky starting his lap actually, so Lorenzo's teammate had a decent showing from what I remember last week in Canada, and he's hit the wall. So not so good showing so far. As Dark is actually 2 tenths up on his lap as it stands, so going for a second run on those medium tyres. Obviously they are able to take it quite easily. Yeah, let's see if he can put himself a lot. He's 6 tenths up, so he's definitely going to put himself closer to his teammate. A purple middle sector. Very impressive from the McLaren driver so far as we head into the last sector. Now this is also where you can lose all your time if you're too careful, if you're way too cautious. Dark will need to make an improvement on that time if he wants to start on these tyres for the race. As I'm going to presume this is why many of the drivers have not set a lap time yet, because of the rain chance. We have in today's race in just over 10 minutes, as he does improve to do a 0.9. As Farrell Fury actually, whilst on that lap time, has put himself on a 0.8 as well. I know. He was on softs and now he's changing over onto the medium tyres. So, yeah. Clear to see the strategy that's going on. In front of us, I think a lot of drivers will be opting for the set medium tyres. So yeah, it's been a very quiet start to the session. However, I do feel like as the session progresses, it's only going to get more chaotic with people trying to, maybe starting to panic if they haven't set a lap time already, and starting to wanting to set a lap, because obviously if there's rain in this race, the chances of overtaking are going to be very, very small. I mean, it's hard enough in the dry, so in the wet, no chance whatsoever. Unless there's crashes, which there may be as well, which you don't want to see really. So I have a feeling penalties and keeping it clean may be a major part of whoever wins this race today. Which I think if you're De Rouge or Lorenzo, you'll want to beat them. So far this season has shown to be, it's going to be one of them that are near the front of the grid for most of the week so far. As De Rouge saying that goes 4 times clearer than everyone else on those soft tyres, and the first driver into the 35s as well, as Sofiane crosses the line and does a 36.2 on those medium tyres. A very nice lap from the Williams driver. Certainly what he wants to, this is what everyone else is wanting to do on these medium tyres. Let's ride on board with ISRL Prix. It's obviously not the strongest start. I don't think he's had the season start that he would have wanted. However, decent. Not the best result in Canada either after getting damage early on. He's going to be wanting to make the most of changeable conditions this weekend and try and get that Mercedes back to the front of the grid where we see it ever so often in real life. And he does a 26.7 in the first sector, as Lorenzo actually goes 2 tenths quicker than CPI De Rouge. That battle for the front becoming more interesting every race, as now Lorenzo with a bit of momentum maybe from last week, obviously fancying himself quite a lot here so far. As we head further onto the session, what Prix will want to be getting a low 36 time, I'm sure, as he'll be wanting to be that lead medium runner. 0.1 in the middle sector. Once again, not too sure how great of a middle sector that is. I guess I'll find out later if that's any good. As Prix now into the finals, into under the tunnel, takes that very nicely. As Jarno, wow, that's a very impressive lap time from the Alfa Romeo driver. A driver who's last week in Canada got robbed slightly, had a very impressive performance for the most part, and then due to safety cars ended up not being at the front of the field, as Prix actually does a 37.0 on those medium tyres. Not the lap time he would have been wanting. That's all. As Knight is clearly not on a lap, so we'll find someone who is on a lap once again. Farrell Fury on a lap currently. He's 4 tenths down, he's not going to improve on that lap time. The cheese 7th. Sprunky once again, let's see if you can get a lap in on the board this time round. Taking second gear once again, a lot of drivers doing that this year. May see different strategies later on tonight as well. For Sarah, I won't be taking in second gear, I just can't seem to get the traction down. So Sprunky is clearly more skilled than me. Going into the end of sector 1, it's looked like a very clean lap so far from the Ferrari driver, and 26.6 is a decent enough sector split. Obviously it's probably the easiest part of the track to not lose time as much due to the lack of corners, and this is where really the main bulk of your lap time comes from. This middle sector obviously used to be the triple chicane there. Many front wings, many side pod damages would have happened there if those umps were still here to this day. However, with 3 minutes left of the session, Spunky needs to get a lap time on the board, otherwise he's going to be at risk of just not setting a lap at all, which is, I mean, it's going to put you at the back of the field. And in a street circuit, the last place you want to be is the back of the field. Unless there's a lot of chaos, then you may be actually good to go. Bit of a loose end and a loose rear end that comes through the penultimate corner. However, he does manage to survive and puts himself into P7 as Sofian has retired in the pits on those mediums. So clearly happy with his lap time and it's good to go. So, like I said, Lachise has also retired in the pits whilst in P14, so clearly does not want to use those soft tyres. Captain Blade, Demort, Leo, a lot of drivers here opting for this medium strategy with 2 minutes left, so they only get one lap of this. So Blade, I actually think he's done the right thing and gone out early to try and get an earlier lap in. Maybe give him time for two laps on these mediums as well. What can he do on these mediums now as he enters the tunnel? Will he be able to keep the traction down? It does seem to. No loose rear end for him in the AlphaTauri. Going through the sector, took a lot of curb through the first part of the chicane. It's not a chicane, is it? Is it? Who knows? And crumbs across the line to barely beat Ariel Passe, so I'm sure as he takes a very interesting line through turn 1, he'll be wanting to improve, as Darouge is currently 2 tenths up on his time on those soft tyres. He wants me to get as far away from the other medium drivers as possible, I think. And he's coming amongst some back runners and has to cut the lap actually to get ahead of Passe, so I'm sure there'll be a bit of a steward's decision there. Not what you want to see at all, as Rio DC won, as well as Sofian retires from the session. As we're trying to find a driver currently on a lap, not working. Red Bull, last night finishing his lap. Bassi is starting his lap. These 3 drivers are also starting their lap, I'm pretty sure. What about the AlphaTauris? Captain Blade. No, Demort is on a lap. Can someone be on a lap, please? I'm begging. RPM Baker, here you go, he's on a lap time. Currently 12th on the grid, right next to his teammate. So at least it shows the Alpines are quite similarly matched teammates this season by so far, by the looks of it. As he enters the final penultimate corner, he takes that much nicer than who was it beforehand that took way too much curb. He keeps it in 6th gear to keep the traction down through the final corner, and he improves by a second and goes 2nd on the grid. A very nice lap time from the Alpine driver there. As this, I think, is the man to watch. No, he's not the man to watch. Passe is not. It is the Mercedes coming through of Luke. 3.6 for the middle sector. That's a much better middle sector than most medium drivers so far. As he comes through the last corner now, will he be able to keep the traction down? He does very nicely indeed. We'll swiftly move on to Knight after this to compare. Comes across the line, goes P6 on those mediums. Very nice lap time indeed. Knight, however, is invalid and will be starting this race from the back of the grid. As Darouge is now coming through, 4 tenths up currently on his lap time, so that will put him P2 if he doesn't improve in the last sector. He improves by a lot more in the last sector and takes pole position as it stands with Jarno invalid. RPM Baker on the lap time. Passe puts himself in P3 on those soft tyres. So now as we look, all eyes are on Lorenzo. 5 tenths up on his lap time currently. He's going to be right around Darouge as he comes across the line. And he is quicker. So, title fight, once again taking a huge switch there. The two front runners on the front row of the grid for this race will... So the leading front runner today will be Luke, medium runner even, sorry. Sofian P10 still gets the slight advantage of those medium tyres, I guess. And I'm guessing the rest will not be using the soft tyre either. But that will be our grid, I'm 99% sure, for the race. So yeah, I'll see if Baker retires quickly or not. We're now just waiting on him to get the main race underway, which is I'm sure what we're all waiting for. So I'll quickly run through the grid. So Lorenzo in the Ferrari on pole, CPI de Rouge back wanting to get extended Champions League once again in P2. Jarno his teammate in P3, it's a very strong result for the Alfa Romeos so far. Passe in P4 for the Mercedes, good result for him, and that's all we get so far. So yeah, if you're watching, put your predictions in for the race. What do you think is going to happen? I wouldn't have a clue personally, but you know me by now. Passe being very nice and representing Ukraine, who are going through such difficult times, as many of you may be aware at the minute. So Passe P4, Baker P5, De Will on in the Aston Martin P6, Farrell Fury 7th, Luke in P8, CRL DC P9, Sofian P10, Robbie P11, first driver who gets free choice of tyres, Demort, Sprunky, EFL Leo, Bassi, New Irish Potato, ISRL Dark, Cheese, Captain Blade and ISRL Knight, as they round off the grid, as we've had a comment from the Dizzy saying you can't go on the softs as they will last around 4 laps. So if there is rain, it better come fast for those front runners, or they may be a bit screwed. I've heard from other drivers that they'll maybe last a bit longer than 4 laps, so we shall see. It's now, I am currently on my phone waiting for the race to actually get underway, which you probably won't know in my luck. It's telling me to wait, and I'm not sure why, because surely it shouldn't take this long to load into the session. I'm starting to get a bit worried. As I think it is glitched actually. As this does mean the drivers will get fresh softs. Oh, hang on. Is this not glitched? Hooray for all. No 4 streams later problem. Yippee. As once again we're now waiting for the drivers to pick their tyres for the race. Pick their strategies more like. So yeah. An interesting note here, in the Mercedes garage they have the full wet tyres ready. It looks pretty dry to me though. Not sure why they'll be wanting to get them ready unless there's full wet weather later on in the race. Inside scoop here from the commentators. Obviously we get to see into the garages because we have the commentators' view. So yeah. So Mark 2000 says Robbie is going to win. Sarah 100 says Forza Lorenzo. So I'm guessing they want Lorenzo to win. And Nick Van Dyke, sounds a bit like Virgil van Dijk, maybe he's related to him as well, but he says Robbie 03 is his cousin actually. Interesting thing to mention. We're all here for it. I've had girlfriends in streams before, boyfriends in streams before, the lot. So obviously quite a lot of Robbie fans at the minute in this lobby. So obviously starting P11, he's got the free choice of tyre. He could be on for a good result here, Robbie. As I will get the tyres selected. So we've got Luke and Sofian on mediums, top 10 obviously. Had to stick that tyre. Robbie and Demort on hards actually. Majority of the field going for hards apart from Spunky, Leo and ISRL Knight at the back of the grid, all going for mediums. How so? Does this mean the rain is a lot further away than people think? Because otherwise, as there's a Ferrari in the wall, that's not good. You don't want that enough information up, do you? Like confidence booster and all. So, as this is a very boring part of the race, if you watch my streams, I have no idea what to say when there's a formation lap or a safety car, so I will end up waffling about. I don't know, I'll choose what to waffle about when we get to the moments. So I'm going to quickly do my top 3 for today's race. I'm going to say Sofian is going to win in first place. We're going to have Demort in P2 and Ariel Passe in P3. A lot of carnage is what's needed for my result to happen, so that's why I'm kind of hoping it does happen. As we now do line up on the grid. Better late than never, am I right? Yes, I'm trying to find a good camera angle so I get to see the start. So bear with me. As this is the best we're going to get by the looks of it, so we are now all lined up on the grid and we're all waiting. And we're all getting underway. As now, Lorenzo, we see the 4 red lights, 5 red lights, and away we go here for round 6 in ISRL Division 2. Lorenzo gets a good start. Does Daruj get an even better one? We'll see. No, he does not. Going into the first corner. Passe. Man, just to stay ahead of DeWill and Baker behind him. But overall, a very clean start from the majority of the drivers, which is what you love to see. As I say that, and there's a Haas round at the back, and it's Bassi. So unfortunate for him, but he's clearly got the same car that I have in League of Europe Division 2, as it's clearly cursed. As we run down the grid here, Luke and Sofian on those medium runners, those lead medium runners, staying around where they started. Sofian actually making up 2 positions from the start, which is good for him. Robbie, EFL Leo having a very good start on those medium tyres, making the full effect of them compared to the medium runners around him. And Lorenzo is currently running away with it. He's got that 1 second gap already, making the most of these soft tyres whilst they actually still work. Because now the chase begins. What can these drivers do? I hope to start overtaking people, ideally. Because EFL Leo is actually all over the back of Farah Fury. Will he be looking for a move into start of sector 3? No, he does not. He thinks better of it. Right thing to do, I think. As Real DC, I'm sure after what looks like he's had a horrid start, he's going to be wanting to get past these hard runners very quickly, as Bassi is in the wall at the end of sector 2. I've done that multiple times. And there's a Haas round. It's Daruj. Oh no. Heartbreak for the current leader of the championship. He's got no front wing. He's probably not got a rear wing after how hard he hit the wall there. A nightmare start for the Alfa Romeo driver, and he's going to have to come into the pits as well, so he will be relying on a miracle to get any sort of points at the stands in this race. But we do know miracles do appear in the weirdest way, as Sprunky is retired from the session as well. And that's a virtual safety car. nearly saving Derouge and Bassi straight away there. So, a virtual safety car, if you're new to Formula 1, basically means it's not, the race isn't fully closed together, it's just a section of the race where drivers are reduced to 40% speed. They've all got to stick to the same delta to help clear a debris in track, or a whole car in this case, which, I mean, it's a bit shocking really, but I suppose. And then once that is all cleared, the virtual safety car will end, and we'll get back underway at roughly the same gaps we had before. So obviously this would be a good chance for some people to pit at some point during the races, as it saves quite a few seconds, as Captain Blade actually gets a penalty for driving too fast under the safety car, a drive-through as well, which is not what you want at all. As we do get back underway here, past A and P3 now. I was spot on for my prediction, if you ask me. There is a little bit of a gap starting to form here with the two. Oh, as there is a Robbie is round, so sorry for all your fans. You've let them down there dramatically. And and there's a front wing gone for EFL Leo, and that is not what you want to see, as he's going to be absolutely crawling for this next lap. As that means, yeah. Did I have him on the prediction? I hope not. No, I didn't have Demort. Who's in P10 actually, the lead hard runner. Go on Demort. I am cheering you on today. As Jarno, trying to make a move on Lorenzo, doesn't manage to make a stick. And it has allowed Passe to keep up with this front train. And keeps him away from these scary medium runners, I'm sure. There's quite a few gaps starting to form in now, as obviously these soft tyres starting to become, as some would say, dead. Some also would say dead, because they are dead. I can safely say they are dead. As now the likes of Demort, Irish Potato, Knight are going to be really trying to push on now. Got to make use of this ERS advantage and tyre advantage that now will have over the runners in front of them, and try and catch up to the two lead runners on the ulterior strategy of Luke and Sofian, who are currently sitting very nicely in P6 and P7, and we'd be looking for any little mistake that appears, I'm sure. As we head back on board with this front battle, Jarno now I'm pretty sure would want vengeance for Canada after what happened during that race, as he sets the fastest lap of the race in doing so. But not the fastest lap overall, as De Will is actually into the pits already on those soft tyres. Wow. They're really not able to make it far, are they? Which obviously once again releases Luke and Sofian into another position further up the grid. So will Jarno be able to make a move this time on the Ferrari driver? He's got the speed, he's got the ERS, got the advantage going into the corner. He makes it stick, and that is currently P1 for the Alfa Romeo driver. Very clean move there from Jarno, nicely done. And now he'll be wanting to speed off into the distance. As Demort now has got a 2-second gap to catch to Faro Fiori. Up into PA, so it's been a good solid start from the AlphaTauri driver on those hards. So still the lead runner, obviously, as well. And yeah, we shall see, as Luke's now looking for the move round the outside of RPM Baker. He's going to be given the squeeze. Can Sofian now look for any move on Luke as well? Going into this right. Going into sector 3, it all seems to form a bit of a train. Jordan asking when the rain is predicted. Ben has no clue whatsoever. By the look of it, I'm going to say lap 16 is when the rain will be predicted, or lap 20. Between lap 16 and 20. So, yeah, watch out for that, as DC comes into the pits and it's raining. Well, Jordan, your answer to the questions here, the rain's here. Not laps. Why have people got on hards if the rain's this close? Please, someone explain it to me. As now it's ever more important these two medium runners make this move on the soft, because now that it's a level playing field, they won't have this advantage, which, give it a few more laps, they would have. As Jarno is currently driving off into the distance on these soft tyres, and we all know how quickly rain can fall on this game. So I'm going to say, by the end of lap 6 it'll be Inters. Very bold prediction, as Captain Blade's already gone on to the intermediates. Clearly listening to me, which is probably one of the top 3 worst things you could do ever. So yeah, Jarno clearly has a lot more pace in that car than Lorenzo does in the Ferrari at the minute. Once again, Luca and Sofian stuck behind RPM Baker, who's holding his own very nicely in the Alpine as it stands. Alpine currently not getting the most points so far this season as a team, and we'll be looking to change that, that's for sure. Jordan says it does seem to come early on approximate, and I think I can agree with you there, actually. I've noticed that myself, so we shall see, I guess, as the rain continues to be quite light at the minute, as everyone does seem to continue on for now. These soft tyres can make it to around lap 8. I think the maximum is before they completely just stop working. As you can kind of see here, Luke's all over the back of the Alpine driver. He's actually managed to go around the outside completely. He's almost binned it into the wall at the same time. Now Sofian will be looking to follow through, as he does so very nicely indeed. So that's now P4 and P5 for the 2 medium runners, with De Mort only 6 seconds back in P7, and he's actually managed to get past Ferrari at the same time. Knight so far, considering this Singapore, has had an absolutely blinding race to be in P8 as it stands. I mean, last on the grid to P12 positioned in 6 laps around Singapore. Quite an impressive stunt, I must say. And I'm sure he'd be wanting to get past this Alpine driver on the hards as quickly as he can, as there is actually a car around it, and it's the AlphaTauri. So these Inters are not worth it whatsoever. Maybe it's just very light rain for the rest of the race. As you can see the gap that the pace these soft cars have at the minute, it's just abysmal. The 2 medium runners have gained almost a second this lap alone on them. No, actually even more than a second and a half they've gained currently on this lap alone. Luke is going to be absolutely flying. As Jarno got a 3-second lead out front, he'll be quite happy with that. Passe's going to need to start making moves really quickly, otherwise he's going to be under the cosh. I think that's the word for it in Ben JS's world. That is the language we use when you're under pressure. Sure, it's a common word everywhere else as well. So Captain Blade going back onto new intermediates, maybe, I don't know. As Luke is looking for a move on his teammate, but with his teammate having DRS as well, I mean, there's absolutely nothing you can do, I believe. As Captain Blade has come back out on intermediates once again. It's clearly still not wet enough whatsoever for intermediates, so we're going to ride on board Luke here, because he looks like he's going to be making a move on his teammate very shortly. These two, if you're looking at the constructors, you let Luke through. If you're looking at the drivers, you don't let him through, you battle it. But he's got that much better of an exit anyway. It's not going to make a difference, as he absolutely flies past his teammate there. And Passe does manage to keep ahead of Sofian just about. So Jarno will now start to be worried, I presume. It's lap 7, those soft tyres clearly aren't working very well, as there's an Alpine off once again. These Inters aren't working very well. The best tyre to be on now is those medium tyres, which Knight has proven. He's also made his way past De Mort, who's now, they're only 3 seconds off RPM Baker, as Passe actually decided to come into the pits. Clearly had enough of those tyres. As now Luke setting himself up for another move once again. These mediums working wonders, as I think everyone would expect them to at this stage. So it looks like a pretty much done deal move going in onto this DRS straight. Obviously, you can actually make moves when you're close enough. It's just not very easy to. And Luke down the inside, he's got the move done before the corner's even there. Very nicely done from the Mercedes driver, and once again puts another car between himself and Sofian, his main challenger at the minute. So gap's 2.7 as it stands. Let's see how much he can gain on Jarno in this next lap, just as a reference to see how bad these soft tyres are, as the rain is still not really appearing. I mean, you can see it, everyone can see it, it's just not making a difference whatsoever. As we look down the grid now, the main aim for De Moorts here is keep with these medium tyres until they die. As Ariel Passe has gone on to these intermediates, and it's been a shocking decision for him and RPM Baker, as they are not ready in the slightest. As Captain Blade is out of the session, it is just in the pit lane, no need to worry. And yeah, well, the gap speaks for itself at the minute. The softs are gone. They're not coming back. Jarno will have to pit this lap, I think. He doesn't pit this lap. He's going to have to carry on these soft tyres for another lap to see if this rain decides to actually start raining. As Lorenzo is in the pits behind him, you can't blame him in the slightest. As once again, these gaps spread out even more so. And I'm keeping an eye on Passe's gap to Real DC, and it's just tumbling down. As Luke is already on the charge for the lead. Oh, he makes contact there slightly with the Alfa Romeo driver. He may have damage. Is that a sign of the rain that making things a lot worse than it is? I'm trying to look at the gaps, and it still doesn't seem to be wet weather whatsoever. Lorenzo's actually gone on to the mediums. An interesting call indeed. As if Luke does have damage, Jarno's pace is really slow at the minute, and if he's keeping up with him, I must say that. Brian T says his games wouldn't let him change tyres. I'm not too sure who that is, so I'm going to guess it's Captain Blade, as he has retired in the pit lane. Who knows, however, as now Knight from the back of the grid is 4 seconds off the race lead. Yes, I'm not kidding. In Singapore, he's 4 seconds off the lead after 9 laps. As Jarno once again staying out. This rain is getting worse, so it may be worth it in the long run. As Sofian looks cheekily down the inside of Luke there. Luke has to make this move now, or Sofian's he's just gonna be stuck behind, and Knight's gonna be on the back of them sooner rather than later, and De Moorts as well. So he has to make the move now, otherwise his race isn't gonna be pretty. Once again, he's going to go down the inside. He's got the overspeed. Can he make the move stick? He's not given much room at all by Jarno, obviously. Fair enough, like. Racing for position. He actually squeezed him into the wall there. Knight's going to be loving this, as Sofia now round the outside. He will make that move stick, and he is into the lead. Luke's going to be absolutely fuming with that, as Jarno, because of his defence against Luke, has now caused Sofian to get through, and Knight is within DRS pretty much of this lead pack, as Luke now sends it down the inside of Jarno. I mean, we all saw that coming, didn't we? Let's be honest. And Jarno is tumbling down the grid. Knight's now here with the front pack as well. So it'll be interesting to see what his pace is like compared to everyone else once he gets given the clean air, because so far his clean air pace has been very, very fast indeed. And Obviously, with this little time at night, it is stuck behind everyone, as there's a yellow flag in Sector 3. As Sofian is round. Wow. Sofian, you can't bottle it like that, lads. Come on. I've just hyped you up and all. As Jarno staying out to lap 11 now on these soft tyres. Clearly, the software isn't too bad, it's just the tyres are just not functioning properly anymore. So I'm still waiting to find out whether these intermediates are actually any good. I don't think they are. Maybe the hard tyre is the way to go. As rain is starting to appear on track, surely it's gotta be soon, right? It's nice going to be stuck behind Jarno for another few laps here. This allowing the lead. I was going to say lead runners there, but no, Luke. A chance to escape, as never mind, as Knight's done him round the outside. He's been mugged off completely there, Jarno, even on the tyres. And through into P2 goes ISRL Knight from the back of the grid in 11 laps. Fair play. Demort now. Actually, one of the drivers looking in the best position on those hard tyres, because if this rain continues as it is, all these drivers going on to intermediates and not working, they've cost themselves positions. Demort is going to go for the move right away on Jarno. I don't know if Jarno will actually have much to say about this. He's still side by side going into this section. He thinks better of it. Jarno goes wide. Can Demort do it round the outside? He's going to be squeezed as much as he can be, but Demort makes it through either way. And a huge move for the AlphaTauri driver sees him onto the podium on the hard tyres. Now we get to see a real judge of pace between these front three. When will these hards become quicker than mediums? When will the mediums die out? And when will there be intermediate conditions? Because it's clearly not at the minute. As Irish Potato making a bold move down the inside of Jarno, who's still staying out on those soft tyres, fair play to him. Will, who actually pitted right at the start of the race, lap 2, on those mediums, now actually caught up to Jarno. That's how bad those soft tyres really are. We're going to have a lovely foot angle of Lachise trying to get past Jarno here, as there's an Alpine off at the back. And De Will has absolutely killed Lachise there. That is on stream. That will be a penalty to Will. No doubt about it. And Lorenzo, who, let's remind you, pitted 3 laps ago, has caught back up to Jarno. Yes, folks, the tyres are that bad. As what I'm seeing so far is Knight's got the quickest pace on the grid. By the looks of it, Demort has got the quickest pace on those hard tyres, and yeah, the intermediates aren't working yet. Don't know when they'll start working. You'd hope soon for the about 6 drivers that are on intermediates, and you'd hope to start working soonish. Doesn't mean it's been raining for about 8 laps now. As Leo has gone into the pit lane and retired. So yeah, another one bites the dust as we enter lap 12 here, as we'll go back on board with this Lachise, who's been taken out and still managed to catch up to Jarno. That's how bad the soft tyres are. As Jarno finally does enter the pit lane, he's done his God's work of holding every single person in the field up. As yeah, we're going to see a lot of drifting now, because it does almost look intermediate conditions. What is Jarno going to go on to? He's gone on to mediums, so he's waited all that time and he's not decided to pit for mediums anyway. Robbie, however, has gone for the mediums. Can still not mediums, intermediates. My mind's freezing. Could it just be a case of the fact that the rain isn't going to ever become hard enough and it's just going to stay like this for the rest of the race? Or is that me being a bit too No, it's getting worse. There's puddles starting to form. It's getting worse, lads. Don't worry. As fair play to Lorenzo and Will so far, as they're the two drivers who've made a pit stop and almost caught back up to the lead runners. Lorenzo taking this race brilliantly so far, as Daruj has only come out 6 seconds behind Jarno. And we all remember what happened to him at the start of the race. Yeah. Just shows strategy is probably one of the most important things in the game for a reason. As I'm now starting to waffle because there's nothing going on. As ISRL Dark currently sits in P8 on those hard tyres. The cheese has got damage, I'm guessing, because he's ghosting all over the show and driving about 2 miles an hour. So yeah, Dark could actually be on for his first set of points this season. As Dark and the cheese enter the pits, Luke has entered the pits to go on to intermediates. Has Jarno just made one of the biggest mistakes this season? Waiting the entire this time to pit, and he's pitted onto the wrong tyres. We shall see. As Luke comes out, it does look very greasy, the track, I must say. As Dark as pit now as well. So we got Jarno, we got a direct comparison here now. Jarno, as he picks up a penalty, he's currently around 12 seconds back from Luke, we'd say. And we got Will in front of him, 12 seconds, so who is going to gain on who? Luke's gaining. Luke's the one gaining. It's intermediate weather, boys. It's time. So, as I said, it may not rain enough. It starts raining too much, so clearly the wet tyres were in the garage for a reason at Mercedes. Like, you can't... The game knows. The game knows. So, actually, that means it's going to get full wet at some point. As Lorenzo manages to get past Irish Potato, that may be a critical move as we come into the next few laps. As obviously these drivers are going to be wanting to pit again. Jarno may have once again made one of the biggest mistakes. He is gaining, however, on... So Luke's gaining on Will, but Jarno's also gaining on Luke. Well, this is a confusing stage, isn't it? So is it not intermediate conditions again? Oh, I've given up, I guess, at this point. You lot do what you want. I've got no clue what's going on. Let's find a battle somewhere, please. Okay, Robbie versus Sofia, and this is a good comparison. Fresh mediums versus fresh intermediates. Who is quicker? The mediums are quicker, aren't they? It's not, the mediums aren't quick, don't get me wrong, it's definitely not dry weather. It's also not intermediate weather. As Robbie's just proved to us right there, as the DRS is still open as well. So it's kind of this stage where Jeff has no clue what's going on. We have no clue what's going on. The 17 remaining drivers have no clue what's going on, and we're all just a bit confuzzled. But I think the mediums are still slightly quicker at the time as at the current moment in time. As Irish Potato makes a mistake and allows Will through. I think the tyre you don't want to be on right now is the hard tyre. I think the hard tyre would be very difficult to have any sort of temperature in whatsoever. Because if you look on board here, that's intermediate conditions. I'm not being stupid, surely. As we'll find out with Knight now, there's a yellow flag on track. Knight comes into the pits, so it is intermediate weather, thank the Lord. Better late than never, right? Luke may have timed this way too early, and Knight could jump him here for the race lead, which will be one of the biggest shocks, I think. Lorenzo stays out. Wow. Bold call there from the driver. As Luke comes through, no, he's gained a lot. Yeah, no, I was completely wrong once again. The Mort is actually currently on the podium, I think, but as it stands. So I've got one prediction right. Come on, like, give me credit. Credit where credit's due. Passe's let me down. Who else let me down? Sofian, you've also let me down, lad. But Demort, I don't know if I said where he'd finish, but Demort P2, you got one. You've got to overtake Knight, I think. No pressure or anything. As we now see how effective these intermediates are, as Robbie gets a 5-second penalty, speed in the pit lane. And I think that may have been the last of the overtakes for this race, as no DRS, no overtakes, no party. Which, I know a lot about parties, but yeah. We're going to ride on board with this battle at McLaren. Irish Potato versus ISRL Dark. Dark, obviously, trying to score points for the first time this season. I feel you, mate. I feel you. I really do. I know exactly what you're being through. And he's currently on for P7, which is a good haul of points as well, not just a singular point or two, as Darouge is now into the pits once again, who's had an absolute awful time of things. He's going to be in P16, he's going to be well out the points, whilst Lorenzo is going to be around, I'd say, around P4 as it stands, I'd say. Maybe P5. Which once again will, I'm pretty sure, put him almost level on points with Darouge going into round 7. Which, I don't know what track it is actually. We'll have to figure that out real quick, hang on. Let me find the calendar. Hang on. Round 7 is the Bahrain Grand Prix. Oh. A track where Ariel Nathan is a merchant at, so that in Portugal. So yeah, Bahrain, quite a good track actually, good for overtaking, good, because obviously season opener is there next week as well, which I think everyone's going to be more interested in than league racing, which I know I am certainly more interested in real F1. But yeah, as we ride on board with this battle, which is not really even a battle. Hang on. Lorenzo's actually came out in front of Lorenzo. No. Lorenzo's came out in front of Demort. You had one job, Mort. Get on the podium, lad. Come on. I have faith. As Passe is now into the pits as well. I still have a feeling it may end up for wet weather. Call me crazy, but I think it will. There's a reason why they're in the Mercedes garage to begin with at the start of the session. You don't usually see her. As Lorenzo's done the 2-stop and in P3. Very impressive from the Ferrari driver, who, as it stands, will be taking the lead of the championship, with Darouge in last, well, 17th, scoring 0 points, and Lorenzo in third, which I don't... It's not 15 points, I don't think, because we obviously do top 12 finishes here in ISRL. So I'm going to say around 15 points anyway. It's going to be around that, isn't it? Anyway, he's got a 13-point gap. If it's anything more than 13 points, he'll be taking the lead of the Drivers' Championship after 2 very good weeks in a row for the Ferrari driver. Darouge will be kicking himself, I'm pretty sure, at the mistake he's going to make. An Alpine, who were looking good for a lot of points, a good points haul at one stage, not looking so good for that points as it stands. As this battle is coming to an end, we'll go on board with Jarno versus Sofian. So 2 drivers who both had very good pace at the start of stages during this race. Jarno, I think it's fair to say, made a mistake with strategy. Sofian made a mistake, full stop. Unfortunate for him, I do. But he's in the Williams, is bound to have a mistake at some point. Just seems like George Russell did it a lot. We all know Imola and whatnot. He's made many mistakes. Latifi as well made many mistakes. Albon, the new Williams driver, also made quite a few mistakes. So yeah, let's ride on board with this battle for a bit, because it's the closest we've got to anything called an overtake, as the gap at the front is ridiculously big and it doesn't seem like they'll be having a scrap anytime soon. As Jarno looking to get a better exit compared to Sofia, and he does seem to have quite a good run on him. However, with both drivers having pretty much full ERS tanks, Slipstream only does so much around here without a mistake. Without DRS, I mean, it's worth the effort. I fully hope Jarno does try and go for the move. He obviously needs to work his way back up through the grid, obviously with that penalty as well. However, it doesn't seem to be happening as it stands. Oh, actually, hang on. Irish Potato has been overtaken by ISRL Dark in the weirdest of places. Maybe there's been a mistake there. Promotes ISRL Dark into P6, and it gives him a bit sort of a barrier to Cheese and Potato behind him now, who both have penalties as well. Yes, we are on now lap 19 of 31. It's actually not gone too slowly. Here's me thinking we'd be here for about 2 years, but no, we're doing very well so far here. Over halfway through the race, about 2/3 through the race as well, almost. So nearly 3/4 there, which is, you just count these times down. Obviously time's going to be a lot slower now in these intermediate conditions. Is it getting full wet weather? No, it's not. As Robbie has picked up a penalty, and there's an Alpine off at the end of sector 2, as I presume it is Ariel Farrell Fury, who's not had the greatest race once again, unfortunately for him, in the Alpine, as De Rouge is also round. Wow, he's going to get disqualified soon if he's not careful. As Jarno picks up another penalty, which, if you can't get past Sofia, and it pretty much calls an end to this battle of Sofia, and he's good to go. Let's look at penalties actually. De Rouge picks up a 5 second. So Cheese actually has a 6-second penalty, so if Sofian can gain a second, he may be within a chance of getting back into P8 here. So yeah, very interesting. So a few battles we're working on here. A 5-second penalty for De Rouge for corner cutting once again. So yeah, working on battles. De Rouge is going to retire now, so yeah, Lorenzo, that'll be absolutely brilliant to hear, brilliant to see from his point of view, I'm sure. So yeah, RPM Baker's now gone on to the mediums. I'm guessing he'll be the next retiree, because it's clearly not medium weather. Knight is slowly closing this gap down to Luke, and Lorenzo is slowly doing the same thing to him, as that is RPM Baker spinning off because it's not medium weather. Is there a bit of El Plan going on here? You know, Nelson Piquet gifting Fernando Alonso the win, however his teammate's in 15th. It can't make that much difference. Just saying. We want a battle, but we don't want one that's because being caused on purpose. Yeah, as we do have a battle here, the Cheese MLT. I don't know if that's the racing team or not. It may be. Who knows? Ow. As he is closing up to the back of Irish Potato, he has since being overtaken by Dark, has fallen away from his teammate quite a bit. So Dark running quite a good race for the McLaren boys here. Good haul of points for both of them, P6 and P7. Obviously, constructors battle, if you're not in the driver's fight, you want to be part of some sort of title fight throughout the season. There's there's a safety car, as RPM Baker on those mediums has DNF'd, as Dark has gone into the pits, and so is the cheese. Now why the hell would they do that? As it does mean we're going to get a bit of a battle. So, cheerio, cheerio. We have a battle to come for the lead as well. Very interesting. He's a bit sceptical that the guy that calls a safety car is on mediums, but you know, just saying. Not one to speculate or anything, but if I was to speculate, I would be saying that. Just my opinion, however. No, I'm not the steward, so if someone reports it, we shall see. However, we carry on, and I'm going to start waffling in a minute because I have absolutely nothing to talk about. What do we talk about? We talk about how I played 4 football matches this week and scored many goals. Kind of done that already though. I was captain for one of them, hated the ref. Got the F1 season starting next week. Mercedes apparently have no pace in their car. I don't think anyone believes them, but if they do actually have no pace in the car, I mean, at least they're not sandbagging, I guess. It would be interesting to see who's out on front. Cop Ferrari. It just will be Ferrari. Just saying that in advance. Ferrari are winning this season, and so will be Leclerc, and Verstappen will bottle it massively. Sorry to any Verstappen fans out there, but he's not that good of a driver, and only won because Michael Massey gifted it him. So yeah, as now everyone will catch up to the safety car. We're going to have about another 4 laps before the safety car actually lets everyone catch up, because as you can see by the mini map, if you have a look yourself, it's quite a field spread as it stands. I mean, it allows the likes of Bassi, Robbie and Farrell Fury to catch up. Actually, no. Robbie is the last driver that will be able to catch up to the field. Farrell Fury is a lap down and will get caught behind the safety car. As now the likes of Demort, Will, Yarno and New Potato have all decided to pit as well. Well, Yarno actually hasn't decided to pit. He's now in P4, but he's got 6 seconds worth of penalties, so he's not really in the fight as it stands. But I don't understand why you'd give track position up, to be honest. The Inters are going to make it to lap 31. There should be no doubt about it now, really. But hey ho. We continue. We get to look at a very sexy Aston Martin driving us around at a very, very slow pace, whilst we wait for literally everyone in the field to hurry up and catch up to the pack. Is Farrell Fury allowed through? He's not, no. So it is kind of the end of the race for him, really, being a lap down and everyone around him not being allowed to overtake. It is not good for him, that's for sure. Jordan said, let's talk about how John McGinn does the Ballon d'Or. I'm 100% with you there, Jordan. He is generally the best player the world has ever seen. None of this mess. Like, yeah, I know this guy called Ronaldo scored a few goals yesterday, but he doesn't play centre midfield for Aston Villa and he's Scottish. He's just not as good. People don't dream of watching Ronaldo. They dream of watching McGinn play. He saw a goal he scored against Sheffield Wednesday. He's honestly just one of the best. Him and Philippe Coutinho are the 2 best players in the world. There's just no more to be said about that, really. Coutinho's just brilliant. I think if you don't like him, you just don't like Villa, which no one does. But we wore our 3rd kit today, Villa, and we lost. No surprises there, as I am continuing to waffle. Jordan says warrior spirit. Not everyone has it. It is true. You ever seen his bum, the turn he does with his bum? Have you ever seen another player do that type of turn before? No. He's creating his own skills. Like, you only see the types like Ronaldinho and stuff do that, and they're all remembered as legends. As Baker said, the mediums were definitely not on purpose, so I apologise for saying that, as I'm very sorry for that, saying that you did it on purpose. Obviously, I know the mediums would be quite hard to do. It's just it was odd to see as a commentator that the medium's being put on. So, I apologise. But it does make the race interesting, so we'll gloss over it. Hopefully there's some overtakes happen now as well. But back to John McGinn. It's just, you know, the best player in the world. They give us a summer, we're challenging for Europe, you know. Looking at this, I'm scouting how I need to win Singapore ISRL Division 1 today. So basically what you do is you start outside the top 10, because I'm not going to be quick enough to start inside the top 10. Wait for everyone to crash and wait for the rain, and drive on the mediums until it's wet weather. And it is actually wet weather, not pit too early like half the field did today. So got my tactics sorted for Division 1. As we should please be back underway. We're not back underway this lap, are we? We're actually going to go to lap 24. But yeah, Baker said he went for a wing change, and instead of changing their wing, he changed the tyres to medium. So Baker, obviously, you can blame Jeff for that one, because he stitched you up real good. I was just making a bit of a joke as well, obviously. I know, I mean, to be fair, I don't think I'd lost a lap on mediums in these weather either, so fair play for getting that far round as well. I'm just waffling, really. So yeah, we're going to wait for another lap of safety car. Next question is, I mean, what's everyone had for dinner today? As I'm guessing most people would have had dinner by now. If you're European, you should have, I guess. Tactics still to be behind an LOE before driver in the stand. I think I'm ahead of you, Jordan, actually. I think we're on the same points, I don't know. We'll see. It won't be the same after today anyway, that's for sure. And will Gary score points in Division 1? Well, I mean, we've got a lot less drivers there in Division 1 today because of certain racing events and whatnot going on. So we may have a chance to get some points. We shall see. Whether he bottles it once again, who knows? Joking, Gary, we love you really. We know we know you're half decent at the game. Just not good enough to win Division 2 in League of Europe like I will be doing. So yeah. As we continue on board, Subway tonight, half time of the Rangers game. Rangers obviously very good team as well. Great atmosphere Rangers to do. Subway decent dinner meal. I'm guessing most other people would have gone for a Sunday dinner, I guess, because it is Sunday. But yeah, so as the waffling will eventually come to an end as we get back underway. We've got 6-7 laps left. I've still got to have my dinner, and it's 40 minutes till my race, so it's in the oven. It's fine. So yeah, we'll wait for Luke to get us back underway for this restart. He's now got Knight and Lorenzo behind, who were quite comfortably not going to have a chance of winning this race as it stood before the safety car came out. Faro Fury has decided to continue on. Fair play to him, a lap down. Maybe he's just going to storm through his field whilst the second safety car comes out, as Robbie's picked up a time penalty under safety car. Wow. As Luke has decided to go very early, he's not really caught Knight out much there. And Knight, however, has had a bad exit. It's allowed Lorenzo through. Darude will be watching this behind closed doors, as there's a McLaren off in the background. It's ISRL dark. Lad, you're supposed to get points today. This was your time. As Lorenzo has managed not to overtake Knight. I don't know how. He was side by side going into turn 1. Knight does manage to keep the position very well, however. Going onto the straight now, this is where the trains begin. As we look down the grid, will anyone want to move on anyone? No. Bassi may be looking for his move on his teammate actually. Down the inside. Brakes much later than his teammate. A brilliant move from the Haas driver. Showing him how it's done almost. And up into P11 goes a Haas driver. So some points at the end of the day for Haas. You know, Haas in real life, they'd be loving if they get points right now. Passé in P10. Mercedes not where they want to be. Maybe they actually is P10 pace this season. We shall see. As Luke has now pulled out a 1.2 second lead overnight. So clearly flexing his pace as at the restart. He timed it perfectly. Knight struggling on this restart as it stands. Lorenzo currently all over the back of him. So is De Morts with Jarno. These fresh intermediates are obviously going to make quite a difference as the laps go on. Obviously, De Morts obviously pitted for tactical reasons. He's going to need to get past Jarno if he wants a chance at a podium, because as it stands at the minute, the best he's getting either way is P4. Barring any mistakes made. However, we look down the grid. Irish Potato on the back of CRL DC, looking for a move, even with the time penalty. And obviously, you never know what's going to happen. I always say, if you got a penalty, which I do usually, you gotta go for the move anyway. You can't just become like, oh, it doesn't make a difference anyway because he's got a penalty. Because they could get removed, they could make a mistake, anything could happen. So if you have a penalty, still go for overtakes. As Irish Potato picks up another penalty. Let's hope the other Irishman in D1 doesn't do that tonight. Am I right, Gary? You're probably not watching this anyway. However, so yeah. Knight, after the first lap, a bit of a chaotic start. He's managing to close that gap down to Luke once again. Back down to around 1 second. De Morts still all over the back of Jarno. He's going to have to get this move done quickly because the front three are walking away with it as it stands. Will he go for a move into this section? Chooses to go first gear, which may not be the best option in his weather. He's looking for the better line, but he's got to be careful of Will and DC, the two Aston Martins behind him. If he gives too much of a gap into the hairpin, you'd be stupid not to try and take that gap as a driver. If you don't go for the gap, then no longer exists. You're no longer a racing driver. As De Morts now almost pushing Jarno through this end part of the lap. Alfa Romeo clearly does not have the best pace right now. It's not even to do with tyres, because the front three also have old tyres as well, but he just cannot get that Alfa Romeo working in the slightest, can Jarno? Which is strange, because Jarno Watmir is quite good at making the tyres work in the game. He's usually drifting around in these conditions, like in front, but can't do it on a Sunday night in ISRL, can he? Joking ISRL, Jarno. Love you, really. Lorenzo, as I say about not catching Luke, he's now lost 7 times since, and Lorenzo is all over the back of him. Lorenzo, we're wanting to get this move done quickly to get a shot at the Mercedes driver in front of him. It's a bit like 2017 and 18 and 19. This Ferrari, well, not so much 19, but actually, yeah, 19 as well. Ferrari, Red Bull and Mercedes all at the front. And who said that F1 wasn't realistic? That's FIFA, they usually say that about. However, as another lap goes on, another lap of 0 overtakes. With this train being very, very large right now, there's one reason why that is. And it is because of Jarno, who's doing a very stellar job defensively right now, holding on to that P4. After penalties, it may not be P4, I will admit that, as there's a Haas off in the background. Into the wall goes Lachise. And out of the points he goes as well. Robbie now in the points, I believe. Good to see for his few fans watching that come here to watch today. So, good for him, I guess. Maybe he's not out of the points actually, as Actually, no, they both have 6 seconds, so he is still in the points. My bad. You're all good to go. As Demort is now all over the back of Jarno. He's got to get moved on soon. Look at the gap times he's losing to the drivers in front. On the pitch straight. He goes for the move down the inside. He thinks better of it. You can't send it, Demort. Not encouraging dirty driving, but obviously, because that's a bad thing. But you need to send it. In these type of conditions, in this type of track, you gotta make your moves. Gotta make your moves when you can, because they don't come around often. Once again, he's within 2/10. He's gonna have slipstream all the way down this straight. He's gotta make a move at some point. He brakes early and stays behind him once again. Clearly ignoring my advice, probably the right thing to do at this stage. However, I just want to see an overtake, you know. I haven't seen one in a long time. It's very upsetting. Passe battle. Good luck calling that. Okay, so the Passe battle. So there's Potato on a penalty, DeWill on a penalty, and Jarno on a penalty. So that makes Passe into P7 as it stands. Sofian P6. I presume they're all within the free 6 second window. I'd guess so. This battle is quite interesting. It's kind of like the front battle. It's all stemming from P4 onwards, and no one in the train can make a move on each other. Saying that, as Bassi does make the move on Farrell Fury, even though Farrell Fury is a lap down to him. Does it really count? Not really, no. I'd say. It's not really raining, is it? Let's be honest. Like, it's got lighter since the rain's come along. Since it's gone to intermediates, I actually feel like the rains became less. As Jarno making a mistake into turn 1 once again. This is Demort's chance. He's had a slight skid on exit, so this is actually going to give Will the chance, if anything. He's also on a penalty, so that would relax Demort as well. I don't think he can get on the podium now, so he's going to look to get P4 on track, which I'm sure he'd want to do anyway. As Aris Potato actually looking for a move on Will's teammate, thinks better of it, going into the corner, and once again all stays the same in the world of racing. Sofian actually looking for a move on Irish Potato. Can he get anything done in actually? So yeah, DeWill, all of these lot. I was going to say there's been an overtake, but there hasn't. Never mind. Lorenzo is still all over the back of Knight. However, they're having the same problem as Demort is having. Sofian and Passe having a little bit of a scrap-a-doodle going into that corner. Sofian maybe close the door slightly on Passe there, maybe, who knows. Look like clean racing to me, so we're going to ignore it and carry on. As we head on to lap 30, Luke in the lead still. ISRL Knight, a very well driven race so far from him in P2, and Lorenzo with the two-stop strategy maybe early on, working his way in P3. So good drive from Lorenzo. I'm pretty sure it gives him the championship lead as well. Back onto this battle. Actually, now I want to stay on this battle just to see if he goes for a move. He's not close enough, never mind. Demort, he's surely close enough to go for a move this time. Jarno's made a slight mistake on the exit as well. Can he get a move going into the end of sector 1? Jarno's gone defensive. Morty's going to look round the outside. Jarno defends it very nicely indeed. He runs a bit wide there. It just gives him a little love tap as... Wow. DeWill has used the force to get past there. And it's causing a bit of chaos now, I must say. I think I think Demorte might have some damage actually. It seems to be. This is going to cause ripple effects for the rest of the grid, because let's try and ride on board with someone who isn't in the chaos. As Sofian's gone way too close to the wall there. Gets away with it. Real DC makes a mistake as well actually. Can Passe pounce on this? Get into P9. He's down the inside. Will he make a stick? Unsure. No, he will not. But Irish Potato now looking for the move on Demorte, who clearly does have that damage that I did mention from the contact with Will. As now this leaves Sofian into P7, wanting to get that P7. As we head on to the final lap of the race now, what will we see happen? Demorte obviously, the right thing to do, stay out. Can he make a move anywhere on the Alpine driver? Demorte for the first part of the lap, he's looking pretty comfortable actually. Yes, just click to make sure there's no battle happening at the front that we miss. As what this Demorte's damage has done is created a very lovely gap for the three drivers with penalties who all managed to get through in the nick of time. So which I'm sure is not going to please some of the drivers. Demorte has gone way too late on the brakes there. Sofian has managed to get through now into P7. So he's got a chance to catch the drivers in front. Demorte's now going to try and defend from Real DC and Passe. And Bassi is going to send it down the inside. And that is, well, I'm not the steward, but yeah, no, that's not good. Very not good. As I'll leave it at that, shall we say? As there's chaos in the back, Robbie's retired from the session, so this last lap causing all sorts of chaos. One driver who has avoided all the chaos on his debut in ISRL, Luke 05, takes the win in the Mercedes around Singapore. Fantastic drive from start to finish, as well as, well, the entire podium. Class above the field, really. ISRL Knight from last on the grid to P2 in changing conditions. He was about P2 after 3 laps. It's a brilliant drive from the Red Bull driver. Lorenzo taking the championship lead here today. P3 in the Ferrari. Brilliant drive from him. Sofian, after all the penalty incidents and whatnot, penalties that people had and whatnot, will find himself in P4, so very good drive from Bone. P10 on the grid for him. Will in P5, Demorte in P6, even with that damage at the end. Real DC P7, Jarno 8th. Decent recovery from the end, which led to a mishap in strategy, I think. However, good call of points for him. Irish Potato in P9, the Cheese in P10, Passe in P11, he's going to be having some serious words, and ISRL Dark, who will come home to get his first points of the season in P12. Very good day for the McLaren driver, and that is the end of the race. So that will be it. There's no interviews today because I need some time to eat and actually do some practice for this track that I've now got right now. As yeah, a very brilliant drive from all the drivers. I think we have a driver of the day though. I know who it's going to. It's P2, ISRL Knight. So a quick run through of the grid just before we head off and be back for next week in Bahrain. So Luke 8th on the grid to first, ISRL Knight P2, Lorenzo P3, Sofian P4, De Will in P5, Mort 6th, Real DC 7th, Jarno 8th, Irish Potato 9th, Le Cheese P10, Passo P11, ISRL Dark in 12th, and Robbie, Bassi, Farah Fury, Baker, Diruj Leo, Captain Blade and Sprunky all round off the grid, with I think a few of them retiring as well. I think around to around P15, P14. All did end up retiring, so I hope you have all enjoyed. I will be back next week as well, I'm pretty sure. Don't think I'm missing any from now on. Who knows? Probably have some dodgy internet. But I hope you have all enjoyed watching. Go check out Division 1 in 20 minutes or so. I'm sure that'll be a lot of chaos as well. And tune in next week, obviously, for round 7 in Bahrain. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have all enjoyed. Ciao.